Welcome back, everybody, to the deep dive. This time, we're going to be looking at digital detoxes. You've mentioned wanting to try one, feeling a little overwhelmed with the digital world these days. So we did some digging, pulled together some research. More and more, it seems like folks are hitting that digital overload point.
Yeah, it's really fascinating how much attention digital detoxes are getting.
So are these detoxes all they're cracked up to be? Or is it just hype?
Well, the thing is, it's not just a fad. There's actually there's a growing body of research showing just how being constantly connected is affecting our brains.
So it's not just me feeling, frazzled after endless scrolling. There's real science to back that up.
Oh, absolutely. Studies show that the average person is spending like 7 to 8 hours a day just glued to screens. And get this, about 80% of us check our phones within 15 minutes of waking up.
Crazy. Right. Okay, wow. Those numbers are a little alarming. It makes you think, what's all that screen time actually doing to us? I've always been kind of curious about the link between technology and stress levels. What have you found out about that?
Well, one of the key things to understand is this whole dopamine thing. You ever noticed how you get that little rush of excitement when you get a notification or see like on social media?
Yeah. You mean like a little reward system in our brains is lighting up?
Exactly. That's dopamine. And it's associated with pleasure and reward. Problem is, this constant stream of digital dopamine, it can actually make us crave more and more stimulation. It's like this vicious cycle of needing that instant gratification.
So it's like every time I check my phone, I'm giving my brain a little treat, but then it gets kind of hooked on those quick hits and it's harder to focus on anything else.
That's a great way to put it. And that can actually really contribute to those feelings of anxiety and stress. It's like our brains never get a chance to actually rest.
No wonder so many people are feeling completely burnt out. So these digital detoxes, are we talking ditching our phones completely, going off the grid?
Not necessarily. A digital detox isn't about, becoming a Luddite. It's more about being mindful, making deliberate choices about how and when you use your tech, creating a healthier relationship with those devices.
Makes sense. So where do you even begin if you're thinking about doing a digital detox? It can feel kind of overwhelming, like dropping everything.
The first step is actually pretty simple. Just try and become aware of your own digital habits. What's the first thing you do in the morning? What apps are you on the most throughout the day?
Ugh, I am so guilty of that morning phone scroll. And social media is a huge time suck for me. You're right, though. Becoming more aware of those habits is probably the best place to start.
Exactly. Once you have a better grasp on those patterns, then you can start to set some clear intentions for your detox. What are you hoping to get out of this? More focus, deeper connections with people, maybe better sleep.
I like that. It's about making this work for you, you know, based on your own goals. So how long does a digital detox actually have to be? Is there a magic number?
There's no one-size-fits-all answer, really. Some people find that a short break, even just a weekend, is enough to feel refreshed. Others might want to try something longer, a week, even a month. It's about experimenting.
So finding what feels doable for you and your goals.
Exactly. It's about figuring out what works best.
Yeah.
You mentioned feeling overwhelmed. Well, one of the first things folks notice during a detox is this sense of calm that washes over them.
So my brain finally gets a break.
Yeah, it's like when you reduce that constant influx of information and stimulation, you actually give your brain a chance to settle down and reset. This can lead to better focus, you'll probably sleep better, and you might even find yourself more creative.
Wait, so putting my phone down could make me more creative. Really? I'm intrigued. How does that work?
Think about it. When you're constantly bombarded with stuff, with stimulation, your brain's kind of in this hyperarousal state. And that can actually get in the way of thinking creatively. By disconnecting, you're giving your brain the space to wander, to make new connections, tap into that deeper creativity that's often buried under all the digital noise.
That's fascinating. We're giving our brains permission to relax and wander, and that can actually spark creativity. Makes you wonder what other benefits we might be missing out on because we're always plugged in.
You hit the nail on the head. Disconnecting can also help us tap into something else that's super important for creativity. Boredom.
Boredom. Really? I always thought that was the enemy of productivity.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
Think back to when you were a kid. Remember those long summer days when you had to come up with your own entertainment?
Yeah, those unstructured days when your imagination could just run wild.
Exactly. That's when your imagination could really flourish. And that's what we lose when we're constantly on our devices. We fill every moment with digital distractions, so our minds never get a chance to wander.
That's so true. It's like we're afraid of being bored.
And a digital detox can be a really powerful way to reclaim that sense of boredom. And in doing so, unlock a whole bunch of creativity.
Okay, I'm starting to see the appeal here, but let's be real. Putting our phones down is easier said than done. What are some ways to actually make this happen?
You're right. It's not easy. It's a hyper-connected world we live in. One of the best things you can do is start small. Instead of like trying to quit cold turkey, just set aside certain times, certain places where you're totally tech-free.
So, like, declaring the dinner table a no-phone zone, I could get behind that.
Exactly. Or maybe you keep your phone out of the bedroom so you're not tempted to scroll, right before bed or first thing when you wake up. It's about those boundaries.
Creating those spaces where you can really disconnect and be present. I've also heard a lot about mindfulness and meditation being really helpful, especially during a digital detox. Have you found that to be true?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Mindfulness practices can be amazing for dealing with those withdrawal symptoms we were talking about.
Withdrawal symptoms from our phones, that sounds a little dramatic, doesn't it?
I know it might sound strange, but it's true. Our brains get so used to that constant digital stimulation. Then, when you suddenly cut it off, well, you might feel restless, irritable. Some people even have trouble concentrating.
Wow, so our brains are going through a detox too.
Exactly. And mindfulness practices can help ease you into it. Even a few minutes of focused breathing can make a huge difference. Calm your mind, reduce stress.
Okay, I'm willing to give it a try. Any tips for a newbie to meditation?
Don't get hung up on doing it right. There's no one way. Just find a comfortable spot, close your eyes, and pay attention to your breath. And it's totally normal if your mind wanders. Just bring your attention back to your breath each time.
It's a practice, not a performance. I like that.
Exactly. And there are tons of apps and resources for guided meditations if you prefer a little more structure.
So meditation helps with those tech cravings, but what about filling all that time we're getting back from not being on our devices?
That's where the fun starts. This is the perfect chance to rediscover those hobbies, those passions you haven't had time for.
Yes. Remember that thing you loved doing but just haven't made time for? Now's your chance.
Exactly. Maybe it's learning a language, picking up an instrument, trying painting or pottery, writing that novel you've always dreamed of. Without all those distractions, you've got the freedom to explore those interests again.
Okay, I'm starting to get excited about this. It's like opening up all these possibilities again.
Right. And don't underestimate the power of nature. Spending time outdoors is a proven way to de-stress, lift your mood, and even get those creative juices flowing.
Yeah, there's something so restorative about being in nature. Do I have to, like, go on a wilderness retreat to get those benefits, though? I'm a city dweller.
Not at all. Even a short walk in the park, sitting under a tree, tending to a few plants, it all makes a difference. The key is to make a conscious effort to connect with nature, even in small ways.
Love that, finding those pockets of nature in our everyday lives. What about connecting with, actual humans during this digital detox? Seems like a good time to really focus on relationships.
You're so right. One of the most common things people say after a detox is that they feel a deeper connection with those around them.
So instead of scrolling through social media, we're actually, being social.
Exactly. Imagine having a real conversation with someone without either of you checking your phones.
Oh, that sounds heavenly. But honestly, it can be a little awkward at first. We're so used to hiding behind our screens.
It's understandable. But just remember, everyone feels that way at first. Try setting an intention to be really present during your interactions. Put the phone away, make eye contact, and really listen.
Like we're relearning how to have conversations.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to be the one who starts those conversations. Ask open-ended questions, share your own experiences, and be curious about the other person's perspective.
This is making me realize how much I probably miss when I'm always checking my phone during conversations.
It happens to all of us.
Yeah.
But we can get those moments of genuine connection back. And it can be really simple things, like having dinner with friends or family, no devices allowed at the table.
That's such a good idea. I'm going to try that. Okay, I'm feeling pretty inspired to try this digital detox, but I have to admit I'm still kind of nervous about actually doing it. What if I get bored? What if I miss something important? What if I just can't handle it?
It's totally understandable to feel that way, a little apprehensive. I think we all have those anxieties about disconnecting. But remember, it's not about deprivation. It's more about It's about liberation.
Liberation, that's a great way to put it. Like reclaiming your time and attention, choosing how you actually want to spend them.
Exactly. And you might even be surprised by how much you enjoy that freedom.
You mentioned all those great benefits, like better sleep, increased creativity. Do people notice those changes pretty quickly?
It really depends on the person, but yeah, lots of people say they feel more relaxed, more focused. Within just a few days of disconnecting, they sleep better, less stress, and just more present in their everyday lives.
It's like you're hitting the reset button for your brain, for your life.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And the longer you disconnect, those benefits just keep building. But the real magic, that's when you start integrating those positive changes back into your regular routine.
Okay, so how do we make sure those changes stick, even after we go back to, the digital world? Because I can see myself feeling all zen and refreshed and then just getting sucked right back in the moment I turn my phone back on.
That's a really common concern. And that's why it's so important to be really deliberate about how you reintroduce technology. Don't just go back to those old patterns.
Yeah.
Think about what worked for you during the detox, those strategies, and how you can keep using them.
So, like continuing those mindfulness practices, making time for hobbies, setting boundaries with tech.
Exactly. Maybe you decide to keep your phone out of the bedroom or make some tech-free zones in your home. Continue doing those offline things that brought you joy during your detox. Find what works and make it part of your life.
It's like you're making a new set of rules for yourself, digital rules, but ones that actually help you instead of drain you.
I love that. It's about that balance, staying connected, but also knowing when to disconnect and recharge.
I'm feeling a lot more confident about trying a digital detox now, but I do have one last question. What would you say to someone who's feeling kind of hesitant or maybe intimidated by disconnecting, even if they know it would be good for them?
I'd say just start small. Don't feel like you got to do everything at once. Maybe just start with 1 hour a day without tech, or one night a week completely unplugged. Just experiment, see how it feels. And remember, you're not alone in this. There are so many resources out there, books, articles, apps, online communities. You can find support and guidance along the way.
And hey, if you're feeling inspired, we'd love to hear about your experiences with digital detoxes. What challenges did you face? What did you learn?
Because in the end, it's all about sharing our stories, supporting each other. That's how we create a healthier relationship with technology for ourselves and everyone else.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive. I'm feeling inspired to approach the digital world, more mindfully and build a life that feels balanced and fulfilling. Thanks for joining us on this journey into digital detoxes. We'll catch you next time for another deep dive into something fascinating. Until then, stay curious and stay connected to the things that really matter.